Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. This is Pro Wrestling Logic, where we discuss pro wrestling from all eras. We got 2,700 of these or thereabouts. And so this is SmackDown review for the 10th of June, 2022. Michael Cole and Pat McCaffrey standing ringside, and they run down tonight's lineup. Cole calls out and calls it the most historic night in SmackDown history. Riddle takes on Sami Zayn in the main event. If Riddle wins, he earns a Universal title shot. If Zayn wins, Riddle is banned from SmackDown. McIntyre is headed to the ring for a match with Butch, and Butch gets in his face. His Money in the Bank qualifier. Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus with Butch ends in a double disqualification, 12:28. Why have a double DQ in a match that could mean something? Anyway, hard-hitting match as it was, but the finish is horrible. And anyway, McIntyre and Sheamus trade strong shots in the corner early. McIntyre takes over with a hard clothesline. Sheamus fights back. McIntyre hits a Michinoku driver for a 1 count. McIntyre ends up on the apron. Sheamus gives him the 10 beats. And then McIntyre recovers and gives Sheamus 10 beats of his own. And then Butch interferes to help Sheamus gain control. Sheamus then hits the white noise on the apron. Ouch. Useless spot for the sake of sensationalism. Back from the break, Sheamus hits the Alabama Slam for near fall, slows the pace of the match down with a chinlock on McIntyre, and then McIntyre breaks free, fires up. He catches Sheamus with a belly-to-belly suplex and a neckbreaker. Sheamus fights back, but McIntyre hits a spinebuster for near fall. Fans break into a Let's Go Drew chant, which makes sense. Sheamus recovers and hits McIntyre with a Future Shock DDT for a close 2 count. McIntyre regains control, hitting Sheamus with the white noise off the top rope, goes for the Claymore kick. Sheamus rocks him with a knee to the face. Sheamus then goes for the Brogue kick. McIntyre counters into the powerbomb for a close near fall. Butch then tries to interfere again. McIntyre takes him out with a Claymore. Sheamus then gets back to his feet and sends McIntyre over the top rope. Again, bumps for the sake of bumps. Sheamus then hits a clothesline from the top rope onto the floor. Ouch. They start brawling on the floor at ringside, and the referee continued his count. He's almost to 10 when McIntyre and Sheamus hit each other with chairs for double disqualification. After the match, Sheamus and McIntyre continue to brawl over the announce table because, well, we haven't seen this feud before. Back from the break, McIntyre and Sheamus continue to fight each other all over the ringside. Referees and officials come out to break them up. Cole and McCaffrey discuss Seth Rollins attacking Cody Rhodes on Monday Night Raw. They show a video package of that because we gotta kill time. Anyway, so in the back, Kayla Braxton interviews Lacey Evans behind the curtain. She promised to defeat Xia Li tonight to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match. Why do we have women doing this? I'm all for women's wrestling. I'm not for women's stunt shows. Braxton actually calls Evans SmackDown's newest superstar. Anyway, so earlier today, Xia Li mocks Evans and promised to become Miss Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank qualifying match, Lacey Evans defeats Xia Li 2:28. Why have them get ready for a match that goes less than 3 minutes? Crowd didn't care about this either. Lee had the early advantage with a suplex and near fall, slows down the pace of the match with chinlock. Evans breaks free and hits an uppercut, gaining control, follows up with the Bronco Buster for a near fall. Evans hits the woman's right for the victory. Evans qualifies for the Women's Money in the Bank. In the back, Drew McIntyre approaches Adam Pearce in the office. He demanded that Pearce put him in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Pearce pointed out that he didn't win earlier. McIntyre doesn't care about this. If he doesn't care, why should we? Ronda Rousey makes her way to the ring after this. Ronda Rousey segment. Guess the segment's fine. Speaks for a few minutes. Shotzi interrupts her. They announce Rousey defending the Women's Championship against Natalya at Money in the Bank. Why is Natalya still relevant 15 years later? It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, Rousey discussed her upcoming match. She compared the submission holds and noted that her mom taught her the armbar. Rousey added that Natalya stole the sharpshooter from Brett. Shotzi's music hits and she makes her way to the ring. She makes fun of Rousey and demands a match. If she wins, she gets a future title shot. Rousey then asks the fans if they think Shotzi should get a title shot. They face off. Championship contender match, because everyone does these now. Ronda Rousey defeats Shotzi, 7:24. Okay match, fans seem relatively into it. Shotzi takes over with a snapmare early and a kick to the back. Rousey gains control. Shotzi fights back with a submission in the ropes. Rousey escapes. Shotzi and Rousey brawl around ringside. Shotzi then hits a tornado DDT off the apron for a near fall. Why is someone as valuable as Ronda Rousey even taking risks like that? Shotzi then caught Rousey with a kick to the face, slows the pace down, and works over the arm. Rousey escapes. Shotzi hits a suplex for a near fall. Fans break down into "Let's Go Rousey" chant. Shotzi then hits a series of strikes till Rousey catches her leg. She throws her across the ring with a suplex, taking over, and then struggles to get Shotzi up with the Piper's pit, but hits it anyway. Locks on the armbar for the win. Natalya jumps Rousey at the end because it's predictable. Later, Rousey refuses the help of the trainers. Kayla Braxton notes that the injury looks serious and she might not be cleared to compete at Money in the Bank. Yeah, right. Anyway, in the back, Megan interviews Riddle. Riddle mentioned that the Bloodline injuring Randy Orton. He promises to defeat Sami Zayn tonight and earn a Universal title match. Gunther with Luther Kaiser defeats Ricochet to win the Intercontinental Championship, 8:32. Probably the best match that they could have had within the time they did have. They showed a tail of the tape to emphasize the size difference. Ricochet tried locking up. Gunther pushes him off and is too strong anyway. Ricochet then tries using speed to mount a bit of an offensive run. And then we go to a break. Gunther rocks Ricochet with a boot to the face. Goes to the powerbomb, but Ricochet reverses it into a sunset flip for a near fall. Ricochet takes over and sends him into the corner. Ricochet then goes for the springboard. Gunther comes up and hits a sleeper. Ricochet breaks free. Gunther then recovers and destroys Ricochet with a clothesline. Goes for the sleeper on the apron, but Ricochet breaks free again. Ricochet then rocks Kaiser with a super kick. He follows up with a moonsault off the middle rope and a standing shooting star press on Gunther. Finish comes when Ricochet does a nip up, and then Gunther rocks him with a shotgun dropkick, then hits a powerbomb to win the Intercontinental Championship. At least this has a good story to it. Then in the back, Sami Zayn is warming up for his match. Paul Heyman approaches Zayn. He notes that if Zayn wins, he can get him in the Bloodline, but if Zayn loses, Heyman trailed off. He looks at Zayn's music starts playing. Zayn slowly walks to the ring. Heyman and Zayn do have some chemistry going on. Michael Cole tells the story of a young boy with Down syndrome and his mother fleeing the Ukraine. She promised him that he'd meet John Cena if they made it all the way to the Netherlands. Cena heard the story and visited them this past weekend. Steve Austin attacks Booker T in the classic SmackDown moment of the week. They're trying to make the show seem relevant. McCaffrey and Cole briefly discussed the classic moment. McCaffrey also mentioned seeing clips of Booker T puking on Cole and Jim Ross during dumping the barbecue sauce on Cole. They recap Riddle and Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Usos from last week. Not that anyone cares. They recap Madcap Moss defeating Happy Corbin and Hell in a Cell. Again, not that anyone cares. Cole and McCaffrey run down the lineup for next week. Cole notes that Max Dupree got stuck in Europe, so he couldn't reveal his new client tonight. Instead, Dupree's new client debuts next week. Riddle defeats Sami Zayn 13:09, so I guess we get Riddle and Roman Reigns at some point in the not-too-distant future. Riddle and Zayn had a great match with a decent enough finish. They worked hard and tried to tell a good story. Heyman joined Cole and McCaffrey on commentary. McCaffrey pushed that Heyman got Zayn the match. Cole speculated that Reigns doesn't even know about this. Riddle then has the early advantage with a gut-wrench suplex and a powerbomb. He then follows up with a Broton. Zayn lures Riddle out of the ring and takes over. Sends Riddle to the announce desk. Back in the ring, Zayn slows the pace down and puts him in an arm lock. Riddle then fires up with a running forearm, but Zayn then gets a near fall with a small package. Zayn then takes over and shoves Riddle off the top into the barricade. Back from the break, Zayn hits a brainbuster for a near fall. They seem to have a brief miscommunication. Zayn is firmly in control, tries to win by a countout, but Riddle jumps back in. Zayn climbs the top rope. Riddle comes up and goes for the Super RKO. Zayn pushes him off, goes for the crossbody. Riddle rocks Zayn with the jumping knee in midair. Zayn regains control and mocks Randy Orton. He then hits a draping DDT and sets up for the RKO. Riddle snaps and rocks Zayn with the knee to the face, follows up with a running kick off the apron. Riddle then hits a floating bro to a big reaction. Riddle then hits a power slam and a draping DDT. Riddle goes to the RKO. Zayn counters into the Blue Thunder Bomb for near fall. Riddle then goes for the bro Derek, but Zayn escapes. Finish comes when Zayn goes for the Haluva kick, but Riddle hits the RKO for the win. Riddle earns a Universal title shot against Roman Reigns next week. Now, throwing it away on TV, probably not a good plan. You could do that for a network special. That's if they actually cared about selling Peacock subscriptions. After the match, Usos run down and beat on Riddle. Riddle recovers and beats the Usos down with a kendo stick. He clears the ring and celebrates. Fans break into a bro chant, ending SmackDown. Universal Champion Roman Reigns defends against Riddle next week. Also, Madcap Moss takes on Happy Corbin in a last laugh match. Is that like Last Man Standing? Also, Max Dupree will reveal his new client. Whoever it is, I'm sure it's a member of the already main roster, and we shouldn't really care that much. Anyway, we'll be back with more right after this.